Hi, it's Dr. Hannes Dreyer, founder of the Wealth Creators University, and welcome to this Wealth Insights. I'm reading a fascinating book, and I'd strongly advise you to read it too. It's by David Root with Lynette Retief, Tax, Lies and Red Tape. That's the book's name, and it is absolutely incredible and fascinating stuff for me to read. Although I know quite a lot about this, the way that they are writing it, I think is absolutely brilliant. But in essence, it tells us, the lies and how things are manipulated and how we buy into this without actually knowing what we are doing. Now, the reason why I'm telling you this, today is the 28th, it's the last day of the financial year, 28th of February. And I'm looking at my businesses, and one of the businesses or investments that I'm looking at, 18 days ago, I actually started a new investment in a new entity so that we can track it and get full auditing financials and stuff like that. Otherwise, all these skeptic people out there, they've got literally 1,001 reasons and excuses, and you won't believe how pessimistic people are. It's incredible. Even though I've proved over and over and over every time that I'm taking on a challenge, how simple it actually is. The more they will tell you that it can't be done, and the more well, it's fun. And I'll tell you in later Wealth Insights about that. So the total cost for this new entity, and that was a structure, which is a level 4 strategy that I've used, were 34 Rand and 83, and without the structuring, it would cost 16,000, the total investment was 16,761 Rand and 43 cents. Okay, so that is, and I use that money specifically as a roll-in, and that's the reason why actually the money was there already. But in order to prove that you can, that once you've got, let's call it a surplus, that you can literally apply that surplus and grow it to whatever amount you want, on condition that you've got a competency and understand the wealth creator strategy and the formula for riches. It's really that simple. And then the different accelerated principles, like the roll-in, and this is what I've used. To get the structure right, that was a Zagat technique, which is actually a higher strategy. But I'm sitting here with suddenly a problem, because it's not a big problem, but that 34 Rand 83 cents is now, according to the financials, 74,375 Rand and 1 cent. This is according to FNB, where I'm tracking this whole process in terms of, and that's a balance. In other words, that's the cash available if I want to withdraw it at this very moment. So the growth rate is phenomenal on this. But I'm sitting with a problem. Yes, a problem. Today is the end of the financial year. By the way, this was yesterday on the 27th of February. And yesterday I started with a roll-in process. In other words, I've got two choices. And this is what it boils down as a wealth creator. Life is about choices, So either I declare the 74,000 Rand profit at the end of the financial year within this investment entity, and I'm paying 20,825 Rand tax. In other words, that money is simply out of circulation. I can't use it, or I entrust myself with it, roll it back into this investment, and by spending or investing another, let's call it 74,000 Rand in myself or in this entity through the roll-in strategy or any of the other accelerated principles. I'm only using the roll-in at the moment because it's very convenient. It's only a 2.5, level 2.5 strategy. So there's not a lot of, let's call it expertise that you need to know how to do it. Anyone can do it. In fact, I'm 100% positive over the last week or so, literally thousands, if not tens of thousands of South Africans were sitting and planning and say, okay, what are we going to do and how are we going to structure it so that we do not pay more tax than what we need to. I've got nothing against tax, but I do have something against it if they're doing what is describing in this book. Okay, and for that reason, I rather grow my estate. Eventually, I'm going to pay the tax, and I haven't got a problem with that. But especially when you start, you want to have every cent that you've got must literally work for you, or you have to, or must learn how to let that money work for you. instead of you working for the money. So basically that is what I'm going to do. I'm telling you this. So when you look at the graph, it's going to look like this and then almost straight down again. But the growth that I'm going to get on the 34 Rand will be still incredible. And then there's another advantage because it's a new entity. We've been trading literally for a little bit less than a month. This investment challenge is only 18 days old. So, and because it's a brand new entity that I've started to track this at the end of the day, we're going to start again the new financial year at a very low base, and hopefully when we get to the 1.3 million, the growth for that year, because of a very low base, is going to be spectacular. And that is what I want to tell you about this Wealth Insights. In other words, make sure that you understand the tax laws, make sure that you understand your rights, make sure that you understand what is legal and what is not legal, and make sure that you apply the legal stuff by applying the wealth creator strategy, the formula for riches, and really become rich. That's my message for you. That is, of course, if you want to. But if you're a skeptic and you sit there and you moan and you groan simply because you've never put in the time and the effort to find out how things work, I'm going to talk about that in the next Wealth Insight. You know, there are people trying to post stuff on my blog. And yeah, I'll tell you about that in the next. And I think there's some incredible wealth insights from that as well. I'll see you then.